My profession is a psychic, and one of the things that I do as part of that is being a sensitive and sensing ghosts. I'm not feeling anything, I'm not being touched by anything, I'm not sensing anything.
I've been touched by a lot of entities ever since I was started when I was 12, and I just follow where they go. I want to know a little bit more about them and try to educate people that they're not there to hurt you. He's touching my arm.
It's freezing.
In order to do this work, of course I need to be clairvoyant, of course I need to be clairaudient, of course I need to be clairsentient, and I am. And do I rely on these? Absolutely not.
I use my psychic impressions, but more so I use the technology with it. Well, I'm a medium, but I'm not like a full gateway. Really the way it developed was standard techniques, but then by further studying research and the scientific aspect, the theory behind why things work, the actual science, so that's how I developed my techniques. Here he is, he's going this way. He's going back into here. It's through here. It's going.
We're just going to take a few shots to see if we can get anything on digital camera, perhaps orbs or something like that.
Normally our team consists of Stephanie, myself, and our two psychics, Michelle and Kate.
One thing we might expect to see is actually all this equipment here going wonky.
There's no doubt that there is a ton of negative energy.
The only objection the Ontario Society for Critical Inquiry would have is those who present their findings as scientific when in fact they haven't followed proper scientific procedure.
My purpose for being here is to observe the ghost hunters in their efforts to measure the anomalies.
We've caught the man, the Japanese man who killed himself in the room, coming through the wall with the black light. He was attracted
you could actually see that before you took the picture?
As soon as we put the black light on, the room was dark, and we could see him coming out of the wall, and I caught that on film.
The onus really is on them to prove to us. It's not to us to disprove them.
This is the oldest lighthouse on the Great Lakes. It was finished in 1808. There's been writing on that chalkboard there, a scribbling, looks like a child has done it or something, when I know there's been no kids in there since I was in the day before.
Well, there's a few locations in here that are known for hauntings. There's a wall where the word murder appeared during the renovations in the 80s.
It's reputed to be haunted by the Dark Lady, as well as several other spirits, but it's been haunted for at least 150 years.
What happened here is earlier reports is a Chinese gentleman killed himself. And then the other main ghost is in the front room here, who's the Indian chief.
I woke up, it sounded like someone was talking in my ear, and I got up and turned on the light for a minute, and there wasn't anything there that I could visually see.
Kate, my girlfriend who owns the house, actually won't stay here tonight.
Hermitage is old ruins from a 19th century mansion.
There was a servant named William Black. He went in the back carriage house, hung himself from the rafters.
It's not like where we just were. This is completely different.
Should I hide in the car? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm going to hide in the car.
Okay, I'm not going if she's not going.
Is there real paranormal research that goes on? And the answer to that is, of course, yes. Is it valid as long as it's done scientifically? It's as valid as any other kind of research. It's defined completely by whether or not the people who are doing the research are following rigid scientific procedure.
We're basically here because this is one of the most famous haunted places in Hamilton. It's reputed to be haunted by the Dark Lady, as well as several other spirits, but it's been haunted for at least 150 years.
Well, it is a hope that we have some what's termed groundbreaking work done tonight. It depends on my ability to focus.
Well, with Ruth Kelly's channeling for tonight, Ruth will bring in the energy around her, and it should be picked up on the EMF detector.
The reason it's used is because ghosts are said to give off an electromagnetic frequency. Supposedly their substance is made up of electromagnetic waves, and when you move it around, you can kind of maybe pick up on one.
Just to sit in a chair and you know, say the words, bring them to me, and have the infrared on is you know, that's the easiest way to do things, and hopefully we can do that, and that we can get them to show up in the infrared. For me, this is a learning curve because I'm going to see what gets to show up and what doesn't show up.
If Ruth basically says there's a spirit around me, and maybe she says it's to her right side, and we start snapping a picture, and all of a sudden there's auras to her right side, that will kind of validate what she said.
In a lot of ways, it's my worst nightmare to publicly have my work filmed. From an intellectual point of view, it's time this kind of energy work is brought out into the open.
Well, there's a few locations in here that are known for hauntings. On the second floor, there's a wall where the word murder appeared during the renovations in the 80s.
This is where the word murder was spelled out, and they kept painting and painting, and it would keep reappearing.
As well as we have in the basement, the area known as the vault. Mysterious area, used to have a tunnel going from it, and when it caved in, it actually buried a few people alive.
Things we want to look for in these things are specifically differences between a baseline recording and something that happens when Ruth is channeling.
This room is actually supposedly really positive in here. We've had several psychics. We've done several investigations here, and we're just going to take a few shots to see if we can get anything on digital camera, perhaps orbs or something like that. Maybe even some kind of apparition.
What I was watching Stephanie and Daniel for while they were taking readings around the room was to make sure that they were doing a fairly thorough job of scanning around the room, and I was actually watching their meter readings while they were doing it too, to see what the baseline recordings were, so that we could have some basis for comparison.
I'm pretty much normal right now.
Keep it in this area here. Looked like it was jumping. Want to take a shot?
Just here.
Yeah.
There's something up there. There's another one there. Something in the doorway, which I'm not too sure. One kind of there.